So I recently made a video about AI taking over game developers and programmers, and it received a lot of hate. There were many people arguing that it can't, and some were saying it can. So I thought, let's do a proper experiment. Let's do a battle of AI versus a game developer. So what we will do is, we will have 3 rounds of different game dev challenges, and we'll try to solve it with the help of AI. And the AI will face a ruthless, a genius,
Conqueror, the goat of all goats. So like they say at the end of the match, ladies and gentlemen,
me. Hear me out. So I'm a professional game developer with almost 12 years of experience, and I've made many failed games. I mean games. So I'm somewhere in between advanced and intermediate. So if AI can replace me, then you all are doomed. Just kidding. All the challenges will be from my real game, so they are not that easy made up challenges like drawing stars or something. They are real complex problem that we face every day in game development. Without further ado, let's start. So in round 1, we have a logic based coding challenge. So here is the challenge. We have to make a patrol enemy roaming from left to right, but the twist is that we will have a moving platform in between. So the enemy has to stop, wait for the platform, detect it properly before jumping, then jump and do the same at the next point. It may sound very simple, but trust me, it is very hard because of 2 things: proper detection of the moving platform with proper timing, and the most difficult part is managing the jump velocity or the projectile distance to land properly on the platform. I'll go first. I will make a patrol enemy with the basic roam function, then I will add the code to detect and jump on the platform. As I said, landing is the tough part, but I used a projectile motion equation with some lerping action and with some jugaad. That is something that AI will never learn, I guess. So I used a point on the platform to get the dynamic position and updated the projectile motion as per that to get the perfect landing. So there is 2 points and I am lerping a third point between them, and that point, all the points are on the moving platform, so they are dynamically updated as per the moving platform, and my player is simply following that point which is lerping between this point. It's a bit complicated, but trust me, it's not that hard. So I was able to do it perfectly, and the code was efficient, didn't require much CPU, and very simple code, and it took roughly 2 hours. So I think I scored 9 on 10. If you don't agree, then do let me know in the comments what you would score me, and if you score me less than 5, then shame on you. You deserve to be taken over by AI. So now it's AI's turn. So I gave some proper instruction of what I want, and it gave me something very bad. Yes, very bad. And I tried correcting it, but I think it was super confused. So I thought, let's assist it and let's start from the basic. So I typed in the prompt to just simply patrol around, and it did that. Then I told it to add a jump when it finds a hole. Then it started braking. See, AI is still in initial stages and it can't debug on its own, so I thought I would provide some help. I will assist by checking the code and telling the AI what's wrong. So I told him that the ground check method sucks, do something else, and it did this. Then I gave it more instruction, detailed information, what to do in this jump situation, etc. And it still doesn't get it. So I kept giving it feedback and checked the code and just helped it to debug the code. I didn't give him the proper logic or just told the AI what's wrong in the code. It took a hell lot of trial and error, and yes, lots of hours to get at this point where it was able to jump around and patrol. Now begins the hard part, adding a moving platform. It was really hard for AI. It wasn't going in the right direction. The code was starting to turn into a mess. I was also giving it hint, and at this point I was also telling in the entire logic what to do. Still, it was really not getting it. And after lots of trial, this was the closest that the AI could get. It was super buggy. it wasn't able to do more. It just did one petrol properly, and after that it always failed. And I don't know why. After a few hours, ChatGPT was like super confused, and because it was processing so many prompts, previous prompts also, and the informations that I provided, it completely messed up the code. It was giving me silly errors now. So I tried someone more genius than ChatGPT, and that genius gave me this. So AI wasn't able to complete this challenge, but still it reached here, which was in my opinion very good. And if there was a proper inbuilt debug system or a feedback loop for AI, then it would be 100 times better than this. For this round, I'll rate AI 5 out of 10. So practically I won this round. I'll give a very complex math problem and see if AI can solve it. So this is the challenge. It is also from my game. In one of my level, I have an enemy which shoots rocket from anywhere, and the player has to avoid it. In many games you may have seen, before the rocket is fired, there is an indication sign which warns the player and gives him some time to move. A fair gameplay. So we need to make that. Sounds very simple, right? Just wait for it. And by the way, this is a very cool game that I am making. Time travel based awesome game. Pixel art, very beautiful. So please follow me for more updates and subscribe and join my Discord. So what we need is, suppose we have a random point outside the screen, let's say A, from where we will shoot, and we have a point B where our player is located. So I have to shoot from A to B. So I have to show a warning sign somewhere between the line AB. Now how do I find it? The very basic math is to find a point between these 2 points, or let's say these 2 vectors, but it can give me any point, like here, here, or even here. But I need the point exactly near the borders. So let's simplify it in maths term. I have a rectangle PQRS and I have 2 points A and B. Now I need to find a point X on the line AB, but that X should also lie on the edges of the line segment of rectangle PQRS. I hope that's not too much of a math in one video. If I use a for loop to find all the potential points and loop through to get this point, it is very inefficient because it needs a lots of iteration and there are several other ways to do it. But the simplest solution that I found was, we have a constraint to have the point on this line segment. So we will check that. First of all, this is the equation to find the point between the 2 vectors. And if I put all this value, I'll get the point on the line. But we have 2 unknown values here, X and Y. So now we will use our constraints here. There are 4 chances, either the point could be on this line or this one or maybe this one. So what we will do is, we will assume that it is on this line and trying to find a solution. So if it is on this line, then the Y value remains constant. Y will be equal to 0. So we have to find X. So when we find our X with this equation, we will get this solution. So this solution is not possible as X is outside the range of the rectangular bond. So we'll go to the next line and there X is constant. Let's say X is equals to 3 and Y changes. So we will find the Y solution. And it also doesn't satisfy our basic condition. So let's go to another line, and if we keep repeating this, we will get the perfect point on the line. Here is the code. It looks a bit complex, but it's not, just math written in coding language. If you guys need it, then I'll share it in my Discord server. You can get it from there. And it works perfectly. Now it's AI's turn. So instead of bombarding it with information, I will start very simple and give it just math information. And let's see what it can do. Okay, so the equation and the solution is correct, but I have to tell him that it's a line segment and not a line, otherwise it will give 2 possible solutions. So now the math is on point, very similar to what I did, and let's ask him to make a code. And the code is also looking very neat. I'll make some basic adjustment to visualize it properly and we will test it now. Wow, it works on the very first attempt. It is very similar to what I did, and here is the code. Math is also the same, but the code looks just a bit different. So I would say that ChatGPT won this round because the code looks better than mine. What you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So the score is 1-1 and we are heading towards the final and the most important round. Who wins this round wins the game. Simple and straightforward. Design a good boss battle in terms of gameplay aspects, attacks and overall quality. I'm not going to make a complete boss. Please guys understand, I make these videos on weekend and whole week I'm working on the game, so I have very limited time to frustrate myself. This boss is from my game and I'll put this boss as my official entry. It has 3 phases and several attacks. I will show some attacks and some phases. I cannot show everything because spoiler alert. And now let's ask AI to make a similar boss. I will allow AI to plan the attacks and sequence and code them as well. So it suggested a pretty ambitious boss. Then it started coding the boss and it sucked real hard. Look at the laser. Then I had to tell it that laser need mechanics to work. Just naming it laser won't work. And it kept making bad versions, so much so that I thought let's declare the round and end the game. But I thought let's give it a chance. Then I gave AI proper instruction how to make it better. Of course it's cheating, but what can I do? At this point AI felt a little dumb. Then after a hell lot of trial and error, when I mean hell, I really mean hell, AI made something like this. It was still very bad, but that was the maximum possible thing AI could make, at least with my prompts. And after a point, it started mixing things up and creating even worse result. So here it is. You have seen both the bosses, my boss and AI's boss. Now you have to tell me who won this round. So let me know in the comments who won the round. If you ask me, will AI take our jobs? The answer is yes and no. I will tell you how. Imagine in 1990s, only top game companies could make games like Nintendo, Sony, Atari. Even normal companies could not make games because the skill and knowledge was too high and almost unreachable. Then in 2000s, game engines started to come and smaller companies started to make games. The entry barrier was lowered. And after 2010, individual people started making great games. So the entry barrier was even lowered. And now any person can learn from YouTube and make game. And maybe after a few years from now, the entry barrier will be so lowered that any person without any technical knowledge would be able to make games. So there will be a huge flood of games. And somehow it would be helpful. More people would be able to make games. Better artists would be able to make games. People with great imagination would be able to make games, and the developers, their skill will be 10x more with the help of AI. It will be helpful all over if you see the big picture. And the only skill that will make developers stand out will be creativity. AI is not very creative in terms of unique new ideas, at least for now. So there we could win. And moreover, no one can remove the human touch. Follow me on Discord guys and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.